I am Karen Guthrie, and I'm going to tell you about the Pickens Senior Center in Pickens, South Carolina. It is located at the Hagood Community Center. It started out about 5 or 6 years ago with 20 members. It's been there longer, but now it has about 300 members. I met with John Howard, and he told me that it was under Seniors Unlimited. It was run by them, and they were given the building to use for free. They had also the Easley and Central and Liberty Senior Centers, but they got into some financial trouble and tried to get rid of the senior center here, and we're trying to consolidate. So a volunteer named Helen Dodgens started to cook in the building and raise money for the kitchen. There was an article in the paper, and then John saw it and volunteered to write the first grant to the Lieutenant Governor's Office on Aging, and then that's how he got in with the center here. So it's a beautiful building, and I'm giving you a little walkthrough on the outside. What you're seeing right there on the side of the building is called a barn quilt. They are paintings of a quilt on the side on a square board that can be placed on the outside of a building. And I'll tell you who did that later. This is in the back corner. They've got a little seating area that they've set up. And then here is another swing area. And then the very back corner over there, you're going to see a garden. They are providing their own food, much of it for themselves. They have onions and tomatoes, cucumbers, all kinds of things. They get really excited about their garden. They do bring in a lot of food from donations. That's where the majority of it comes from, but some comes from Sam's. This is now completely run by volunteers. The rest of the money comes in from grants and large donations. Here is a shuffleboard. But the next picture you're going to see is Mr. Howard on the right receiving, I'm not sure if this is a grant or if it was just a donation, but it's from the leadership Pickens County. But back to that barn quilt, the Blue Ridge Electric Co-op placed the barn quilt up for them, and it was painted by the Upstate Heritage Quilt Trail. Anyway, on this picture here is you'll see Irene on the left. I got an interview from her, and these two ladies are guard dogs to the front door. They take the money for anyone who comes in, and all the members sign in. The members only pay $20 a year, and then they pay $3 for lunch, $5 for dinner, which is only once a week for the dinner. Probably keeps them from driving at night. That's probably a good idea. The meals are wonderful meals. This is their dining area, and all the people are listening to some entertainment music before they start eating. The food is well-rounded, and of course, everyone who does anything there is a volunteer. The food is outstanding. The grants have come from just about everyone. Blue Ridge Co-op, Duke Power, Sam's Club, Kent Wool, the state. The entertainment changes regularly. These are some of the people that are preparing some food that's going to go out to the Pickens Azalea Festival. But they have a special collection by, it's called a Granger collection. This woman, Mary Granger, who passed away, created an impressive collection of quilt, hooked rugs, depression glass, and antique sewing tools. So you'll see some of that as we go down the hall. This is heading out, and that's the pool room on the right. It's billiards, not pool, but the smaller table is the ladies because it's shorter to the ground. And this billiard room is always, always busy. These gentlemen absolutely love it. We're going to go back to the hall, and you'll see John again. I'm not sure what he was doing in the hall that day, but there's pictures on the wall we'll talk about at some point. This is the multi-purpose room, and they're doing bingo. They do this every day. The back area, those books on the shelf, that's their library, and it's actually jam-packed at this point. They have tons and tons of magazines, newspapers. Over in the other corner of the room, they have a television with piles of movies underneath. In this corner, they've got games and all kinds of things in the cabinetry. We're going to go back to those walls. That is the Pickens Mill School, which is what this building used to be. And they actually have original blackboards that used to be on those walls, and they are now in the museum. It's really neat. They found them when they first started renovating. And then they have these old pictures on the walls, and I asked about those because this Main Street now is only 2 lanes wide. I have no idea it used to be this wide, and I was told that they found these, and they were just little tiny slides, and they blew them up, and they're just amazing. This is the Doodle Railroad, which is now the Doodle Trail between Pickens and Easley. It's a new Rails to Trails. These things that you see on the wall are the hook rugs that belong in the Granger collection. This gentleman wanted to donate his late wife's collection, and after he donated it, he found out that all of this stuff was worth over $100,000. So he's just really pleased to have a place to have it displayed. This is all part of her collection, all these quilts, hooked rugs, the depression glass, antique sewing tools. So we're going to go to the Granger Fiber Arts on the left there, and the fitness room after that. So this is the Fiber Arts room. The woman that's standing there on the left, she is Lucy, and she will talk your ears off. These people are really excited about having all these fiber arts. She teaches the classes there, and they do all kinds of quilting and sewing. This next one here is bobbin lace. It has thick material there, so you can actually see it really well. But bobbin lace is handmade lace. It's not the kind that you do in the factories where the machines do it all. But you'll see in a minute the actual materials they really use. And this stuff goes at about $65–70 for 6 inches worth of lace. And it's just absolutely amazing that these people can patiently work on this. It would make me crazy. But that's the actual cotton thread that they use. And wow, just wow. Here's some more stuff there. More of the hooked rug stuff. Here she was working on she actually finished that. This lady, you'll see some of her stuff in just a minute here. She does doll clothes, and she was showing me some of her stuff. Really neat. And we're going to go to the fitness room. I peeked in, and you'll notice that these people are not beyond goofing off and peeping at each other through the holes in that noodles. But they had a good time doing their stuff. They actually do Tai Chi, and they love this stuff. This is offered by the hospital. And the hospital gets to use a room for the YAMs, which is the Young Appalachian Musicians. This is the Heritage Room. There is all kinds of looms in there, which I see people using. Really neat. This is what the barn quilt outside is based on from the Granger collection, and this is some of her glass. You'll see a lot of that stuff. It's really neat. These people are so proud to have all this, and I've never seen a facility so busy. The people are so happy here. Metronomes, I didn't know she had any of that either, but lots of music. This is the Yams room. They're getting ready to remodel the very last room in the building, which is going to be a huge auditorium. It is right now, but all the seats are torn out and the floors are terrible, but that's what it's going to look like. It's going to be great. This is Ethel. She pretty much ran me everywhere in the building, and that's her new sweetheart. They're getting married. There was actually a romance there. How sweet. And this is the Pickens Azalea Festival. Those are all the jams that these ladies make. Amazing. And then they use that as one of their fundraisers. There is another gentleman that I had interviewed. His name is Jack, and he's there in the red and white. Sweet guy, 40 years. He was in the military, and there he is with his sweetheart. And I just love that picture. The ladies do take up a lot of their fibers, which is there on the right at Christmas time, and they do some sales. But then, I don't know, these people really like their hats, don't they? There's Jack again on the left. But this place, I think, would be something that could be duplicated because I think because they had the ownership in this place as volunteers, and they didn't have to be qualified by their income, and it's just such a fun place. I think that that's what makes this place special.